how I believe with where we are in the stage as we really call ourselves the sandwich generation, and all of us are at the stage where our parents are aging and seeing everything around. What I feel as our generation, we really need to give that environment to our elders that continues their positivity, you know, keep them still growing, giving them that feeling that they're not declining. And why should they? I feel like it's on us to provide that environment for them where they feel successful, that they're continuing to grow in a different way, that they're still contributing, they're still being productive. And I think I see in my families, and perfect example would be my mother-in-law, who is a very independent um, woman, and all the life she's been. And just because she's declining a little bit with her energy levels, to say, oh, you should be staying home more than traveling? No. Let her do it. Let her carry on with the thing. What our job is to provide her with extra, maybe help, a resource that to make it easy for her. So, and that's where I think the loneliness comes in too, when one of the spouses, like my father-in-law, is not there. What other channels or resources does she have to keep herself engaged and travel and visit people and stay engaged? So, if anything, step in their shoes, understand their needs, and our job is to give them that extra, the support they need, whether it's like, okay, I need to have a driver for you, or we need to arrange for a taxi or whatever to let her, rather than saying that you are getting older and you got to stay more at home. The loneliness, I think, is huge with this generation. And I think I have my biases on that with um, parents being moved to care homes. I guess it's very individualized, you know, scenarios. I would say in certain cases, if you the only person and nobody to take care of you, have no option. Absolutely, we need to be open to those options and say, hey, you're going to be surrounded by people like you who understand you and well taken care of. But I think in situations like in my family situation where I have grandkids and we have family members, I would certainly would want the seniors to be taken care of at home, because again, when it comes to loneliness, that's what they need. They need to be surrounded. They need to be heard. That's all it is. They need to be heard. Somebody to come and talk to them, play games with them. My kids, when my mother-in-law comes over, and sometimes I'm like, let Daddy go to sleep. It's 9 o'clock. I'll go into the room and they're playing Uno and they're having a blast. So, and that's what they need, and that's the interaction, they need the elders. So, really, I guess my thoughts would be from person to person from that angle. But we as a society have to create more resources. I think that's where we are lacking. There's not enough for seniors to go in, especially in India, you know, um, what they can do, senior groups to travel together, senior groups to meet in a society, or some programs, recreational programs where they can create their own little, a little venue to meet. It really depends. Some people are financially very independent, but a lot of them do depend upon their kids. To help them through their senior years and whatnot. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, like that, that abuse, not having resources. And I think about, what comes to my mind is when we have a child in the house, we know we're going to wake up every 2 hours to feel that kid. We have a pet in the house. I have a pet, a friend of mine having a pet, and every 2 hours she's going and taking the pet out for things. And I'm like, why, when it comes to seniors, we take it for granted that they become a burden on us? Why? Just because they are at the age where they're mature now. I hate to even call it seniors or elders. They're mature. They come with their own needs. Everybody, we're going through the decline where it's a natural process. The body is going to decline. They're going to be forgetful. We need to educate ourselves and prepare ourselves at early on how to go through, and really thinking transformation there needs to take place and prepare ourselves that we have to do that for our seniors as well. Just like we did for our kids, they did it for us, we do for our little kids. I think we have to do the same thing, prepare ourselves that, okay, for seniors, the last 10, 15, 20 years of their life, this is how it's going to be. There's going to be a decline in mental capabilities, their physical performance, and rather than making them feel that they're not performing at the same level, I think encourage them and also educate them that this is that phase of their life is where this is normal, and then they need to prepare themselves for that phase too. Um, Death is scary enough for them to think about it, but I think we all have to prepare for that part of the journey as well. And I think our seniors are not ready for it. I think about it. Our seniors are not ready for it. It's fearful. They're fearful of death. You know. So I think, yeah, I think about that too, in just saying that, embracing that it's part of life. So I think as all of us, yeah, I don't know. Well, I strongly support it because Alka, when I heard that you are doing this, and I said, wow, this is amazing. And the more and more, I think we have to voice our thoughts. And I think it's such a great way to, like just what I was talking about, so much of learning and growth to happen, especially, in India, in our society, where there's still so many mindsets and stereotypical thought processes in saying we can do this, or care home, perfect would be an example, right? Or it always comes to what other people are going to say. I say the society, we still think more about others and taking it at what suits us in our environment, what makes the seniors happy and us, and they need to be heard. And I think at that age, they feel like they're losing their sense of integrity, they're losing their sense of belongingness, um, because they know they're declining a little bit. So why do we have to rub it on them and say, hey, you are slowing down? In fact, we need to enrich them and say, this is part of life. No, and we're not letting you slow down. We're going to carry on. And I think this is what I see with just the opposite. My mom is also a very go-getter person, but I can see her slowing down more than my mother-in-law, because my mother-in-law has that winning attitude, saying, you know what, nope, still keep going till whatever it is. And I remember one time asking her, I said, you're walking. I said, you're walking less, you're less laps now, because she is determined she was going to do her 16 laps. I said, it's taking you a little bit longer time. I said, she goes, well, the difference between before and now is, before I could just get up and go. Now it takes me half an hour to warm my nuts and bolts in the morning, because that's the only difference. It's taking me a little bit longer. So there you go. That's the aging process.